tired of these same washed up beauty standards? Yeah, me too. Get ready to dive into the bold and unapologetic world of the 2010s Baddie aesthetic. From iconic makeup looks to the rise of social media influencers, we're unpacking how this hyper-curated, ultra-confident look didn't just change beauty, it redefined it. Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is where commentary meets confidence and we deep dive into the psychology of culture, beauty, and everything in between. So let's get into the 2010s. And just so you guys know, between 2010 and 2020, that was my favorite decade, okay? When I say favorite, I mean favorite. COVID really did, start 2010 off terribly. But between 2010 and 2020, honey, that was a time. That was a time. And we all collectively remember the year 2016. 2016, I have not had a year like 2016 since. It's time to get into this video. So in the early 2010s, something major was brewing, okay? Social media wasn't just a tool, it was becoming a stage, which is something way different than we had ever seen before. Instagram launched in 2010 and quickly became the go-to place for personal branding, curated aesthetics, and, visual storytelling. Now, at the same time, fashion bloggers and YouTube beauty gurus were rising fast. I mean, think Amrezy, Makeup Shayla, Desi Perkins, Jackie Aina, women who didn't wait for magazine covers to validate their beauty. They built their own platforms and brought beauty directly to the masses. And then on top of that, we have the cultural blueprints, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, and early 2010s reality TV stars like Kim Kardashian, who were also helping build those platforms. They were bold, unapologetic, and knew how to command a room and a camera. Their influence quietly shaped a generation that was learning to pose, post, and perform. So what was the Baddie aesthetic, right? Okay, so when I think of the Baddie aesthetic, I think of Lear Galore, Miracle Watts, Bernice Burgos, India Love, Jada Waiter, Aaliyah J, right? So basically you want to start with long, sleek hair, right? Usually black or brown, often bone straight or styled in voluminous waves. Add perfectly sculpted eyebrows because the brows were always perfectly sculpted. Heavy contour, that's a must. Dramatic lashes and a matte lip. It could have been a nude, it could have been a brown, or, we had some of the girlies doing bold, like a bold purple, a candy yum yum. If you're a matte girly, candy yum yum was the go-to, right? Top it off with a bodycon dress, crop tops, distressed denim, gold chains, hoop earrings, and maybe like a Michael Kors bag. You get the picture. It was bold, it was curated, and it was completely different from the softer girl next door look that the 2000s had. Makeup trends like contouring and strobing made a face a canvas for structure, definition, and radiance. This wasn't, a no makeup look. It wasn't that. The 2010s was not about that. This was high impact glam, okay? A walking highlight reel, a statement. You walked into the room and you commanded it with that face, with that bold look. That's what the 2010s was about. Nothing soft, okay? Nothing was soft. Everything was curated and intentional. I don't know about you guys, but when I tell you my love for 2010s makeup is so deep, I'm aging myself a little bit, but that's when I learned how to do my makeup, like I would sit down in front of the mirror, I would watch YouTube videos, I would learn how to do my makeup. Contouring was a thing, like your face was sculpted and your eyebrows were on fleek, okay? I'm aging myself again, but whatever. Your eyebrows were on fleek and you had to have those two things, a contour and your eyebrows done specifically. Oh, and a lash, of course. But you had to have those three things done to make sure that your look was pulled together enough to go to the club. And that was the thing in the 2010s, the club. Okay, we're not doing professional business casual to the club. We're doing bodycons. Get your bodycon dress on, okay? And put some heels on. That's what the 2010s was about. No blazers in the club, okay? No shade, but no blazers in the club. dresses only, body con, to sculpt the body, okay? Now let's talk about what the Baddie aesthetic represented, right? This wasn't just about looking good, it was about owning it. Women, especially Black and brown women, were claiming space in beauty conversations. This aesthetic allowed them to express a level of confidence, control, and visibility that had been denied or criticized for a very, very long time. The Baddie look was empowering because it said, I know I'm that girl, and I don't need your permission to show it. Now, we have seen this, kind of ebb and flow in past eras, but no one did it like the 2010s. I'm sorry, no one. It disrupted Eurocentric beauty standards. It brought fuller lips, curvier bodies, and deeper complexions into the spotlight without apology. Even the selfie culture, okay? The selfie culture tied to the Baddie trend. That was submersive. It said, I'm the main character. I define beauty now. What you gonna do about it? And that self-confidence is spread. Suddenly, glam wasn't reserved for red carpets. It was for your everyday life, an IG story, and your YouTube channel. And I can tell you like this, in the 2010s, my face was beat all the time, 24/7. I'm going to class, let me put my makeup on. I'm going to the store, let me put my makeup on. I'm getting some groceries, let me put my makeup on. Like, it was just a thing. Obviously, I don't do that now because I've just grown out of it. But in the 2010s, yeah, I was definitely putting on a whole face of makeup to go absolutely nowhere. But it was just a thing, it was just the thing. The ripple effect of the Baddie aesthetic moved fast and deep, okay? So music videos started to lean into this visual. Artists wanted quote-unquote Instagram Baddie energy in every scene. Think slow motion walks, over the shoulder looks, and confidently feminine power moves. Now, we did see this in the early 2000s with the video vixens. I'm not gonna lie, they did lay the foundation, but the 2010s happily built upon that. Mainstream fashion brands started hiring influencers with Baddie appeal. Even editorial shoots, they shifted to include more street style, more curves, more edge. Beauty campaigns became less beige, no shade, and more bronze. It was no longer just a subculture. It became the culture. And yes, it had its contradictions. Sometimes the Baddie aesthetic still, catered to the male gaze or fed into consumerism, but it also opened up space for new expressions of beauty, visibility, and agency, which we cannot deny. But like the saying goes, all good things must come to an end, and that unfortunately does include the Baddie aesthetic. Now, it doesn't, it didn't really come to an end, but it is evolving, right? So we're seeing the rise of the soft life, the clean girl aesthetics, still curated, but definitely quieter, like loads quieter and way more minimalistic. There's also been cultural pushback on over-filtering, cosmetic surgery, and hyper-performance of beauty, which are all things that we definitely saw in the 2010s. Yet, the core of the Baddie energy remains: confidence, curation, and control over your image. Today's Baddie, she might swap matte lips for lip gloss or trade a bodycon for wide leg cargos. She is me. But the ethos is the same. Now, the question moving forward is this: can we keep the empowerment without the performance? Can beauty be bold and balanced? Questions that need answers. Let me know your thoughts down below. So, what did the 2010s Baddie aesthetic really give us? Well, it gave us permission to be loud with our beauty. It redefined who got to be seen, who got to be celebrated, and how we present ourselves to the world. And even as trends come and go, the Baddie left behind a legacy, one of boldness, transformation, and self-made beauty. Let me know down in the comments, were you a 2010s Baddie? Let me know what part of the aesthetic still lives in you today. I know for me, it's the brows. I'm sorry, I'm never getting rid of them. Yeah, I love me an arch brow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and tap the bell so you never miss a deep dive like this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.